proprietor and enjoyer of everything. And we cannot imitate him. But because we wanted to do that, he has given us this toy set called this material world. And he has kept us nicely busy. And we are very engrossedly playing the game of being the fictitious controller, proprietor and enjoyer of things of this world. And we are arranging them this way, that way, every way. And we are so absorbed that we are not even aware what is our real existence. But my sister, when she would get real hungry, she would go to my mama and say, "Mama, bhook lagi hai." And I would say, "Khao na apna balaya hua rice, chapati, dal, sabji." Idhar kyun aa rahe ho? She said, "That doesn't satisfy me." That was the answer. So the day we really get hungry, which means our real quest for real relationships and pleasure gets awakened, we turn towards God. And we say, "That doesn't satisfy me. I tried my best, becoming a fictitious, whatever. Now I come to you, please fulfill my desire." That is how this world, spiritual world and material world works. So what is that spiritual world? That is also described in Bhagavad Gita. Please repeat after me. Na tad bhasayate suryo na shashanko na pavakaha yad gatva na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. So Lord Krishna is saying, Na tad bhasayate su. That spiritual abode of mine is neither illuminated by sun or moon, nor by electricity. Everything in the spiritual world is everyone, which means they are conscious beings. And they are self-effulgent. That world is not dark, unlike this world. This needs some sun or electricity to illuminate. And na shashanko na pavakaha yad gatva, if you go back to that spiritual world, na nivartante, you don't come back again. Tad dhama paramam mama, that is my eternal supreme abode. And there are many such descriptions in the Vedic literatures about the kingdom of God, the spiritual world. Now, let's go to the next title. Spiritual happiness versus material happiness. Once in one village there was a person. He was a very, what they call, commoner, very naive. So he went to bank of a river and he found the reflected mangoes in the water bed. And he thought these are mangoes. And he jumped. And no matter this way, that way he jumped, the mango was not coming in hand. And sometimes in the process he got hurt on the head, started bleeding. And it didn't work somehow, so he became disappointed, but he didn't give up his attempt. So many others came and they also saw his business. He was so determinedly doing it. And he said, "What are you doing?" So, "Mangoes." And those fellows also, following the blind man, started jumping in the water to get the mango. Eventually he opened up a consultancy, 1008 ways of getting mangoes in the water. And he had a big thesis about it. And everybody in the village was continuing that business until and unless one person came from another village. It was all a village of fools. He grabbed the head of this guy and he turned it towards the real tree and the real mango in the tree. He said, "My dear sir, this is what you want. Why don't you just do this business that you go up here and get the mangoes?" Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, Prabhupada's guru, used to tell the story. 25 paise ka circus. Once in one village, one huge circus came. And that advertisement was what? 25 paise ka circus. So आप जगह जाके announce करें 25 पैसे का circus, 25 पैसे का circus, 25 पैसे का circus. People were shocked. 25 पैसे का circus? How this fellow managed to maintain elephants and bears and all that? So they went and saw what it is. And they really saw there was a huge tambu. And they said, "Wow, seems quite a promising thing." So many were there at the ticket counter and they purchased ticket. But they said this is a very anokhi circus. One guy allowed at a time. It's not a bulk phenomenon. So quite simple. It's interesting. You take first of all 25 paisa only, and just for one person you do a whole circus. That's quite an opportunity to gratify myself. So the first guy went inside, And when he went in the center of that circus, he saw there is nothing inside. There is no joker, there is no all that swings and this and that. Empty tambu. And then at a distance he saw one huge, hefty man, well built. He asked him, "Bhaiya, circus kahan hai yahan pe?" And that man looked at him. "Circus dekhna hai tere ko." And he grabbed him and he had a sota in his hand. So I had a beating the hell out of him. Pan, left and right. He gave, "Wow, you're shouting, yelling, leave me, I don't want to see anything, let me go." He was just beating him left and right. And then finally that fellow said, and then he ejected him from the other end of the gate, on the other side. So when this fellow fell out, he had black eyes, cheeks swollen, tooth loose, all everything in the body, paining and wobbling. Somehow he got up to go, and he saw a huge rush, from the village. Many people are still coming, to attend the circus. And they came and asked him, "So, how was the circus?" And what will he say? So it is like proving your foolishness, right? So he said, "Circus, very nice circus. I have never seen such a circus in my life. Every one of you should go and see this circus." And the whole village got beaten up. And they all came out and they said, "Wow, that was a great circus that we had in the life." So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati says that everyone in this material world is aware that they are constantly undergoing adhyatmic, adhibhautik, adhidaivik miseries. Miseries caused by body and mind, miseries caused by other living entities, and miseries caused by nature. But if you ask anybody, "How are you?" "Fine." Anybody on this one? "How are you?" "Fine." "Excellent, wonderful, no problems." And you wonder why they don't feel that there is some inconvenience here in this world. Even now when we are sitting, we have to twist and turn our body. So many issues. Or adhyatmik, adhibhautik, adhidaivik is always on. So in this way, material happiness, you have to pay a heavy price for it. You get something. It is not that you don't get happiness in material world. But if somebody gives you, say, one rasgulla, will you take it? Yes. But if he gives it to you for 10 crore rupees, will you take it? Sorry, sir, not that way. Similarly, there is pleasure in this world, but the price that we have to pay to arrange for it is not worth it. This is not to say that we should not enjoy the pleasures of life. This is just to make us aware that there are pleasures of a higher grade available. Why not also enjoy them? If you are so keen on pleasure as a topic. So that's the meaning of spiritual happiness versus material happiness. There is that Vedic aphorism, "Tamasoma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya asatoma sadgamaya." What does that mean? Tamasoma, don't stay in darkness. Jyotirgamaya, go to the world of light. Mrityorma, don't stay in the world of death. Amritam gamaya, go to the world of deathlessness. And asatoma, don't stay in asat, temporary world. Sadgamaya, go to the eternal world, full of happiness. That's the Vedic aphorism. And that is the topic of. Now the last and the most important topic, relationships. The kingdom of God is a family affair. It's a huge family. There are innumerable souls in the kingdom of God, continuously rendering services to each other and to God eternally. Everyone in the spiritual world thinks not of his own happiness, but of the happiness of the other person. Keeping God in the center, they all share a wonderful family. It is said that there are 5 rasas we want to enjoy. In relationship to God, the jiva, living entity, can have 5 types of relationship. It is called Shantya ras, neutral relationship wherein you have odd reverence towards God. You are just so struck with odd reverence, seeing the grandeur and the amazing personality of God, that you are kind of immobile. You're happy, but there is no reciprocation. Sometimes that happens with us also in some relationships. Awestruck. So that is called Shantiras. In the spiritual world also there are mountains, trees, animals, fountains. Everyone is a conscious person, but they are in Shantiras with God. Then higher than that Shantiras is Dasyaras. Relationship between master and servant. Lord is my master and I am his eternal servant. And he is such a wonderful master, I just can't stop serving him to please him. Like Hanuman and Lord Ram. Typical example of Dasyaras. You feel happy to have a perfect master and you want to serve him very nicely. Higher than Dasyaras is Sakhyaras, friendship, in which you treat God on equal level. Like Krishna's friends, Sridama, Sudama, Stoka, Krishna, Madhumangal, or even Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. They are on friendship level, right, with Krishna. Sakha, God is my friend. And that is how you exchange prema. Then higher than Sakhyaras is Vatsalyaras, which means parenthood. Either God accepts you as parent or you are actually a child of God. And there is the Vatsalya. And that's an interesting rasa, because in that you control God. God becomes subservient to your desires, like Mother Yashoda and Krishna. We know the relationship. And higher than Vatsalya Ras is Madhurya Ras, which means conjugal love. So there are Krishna and the gopis, or Lakshmi Narayana, Sita Ram. There are many innumerable spiritual planets in which the Lord is staying as the chief of that planet, and he has an entire entourage. And in that place, every soul has got a unique relationship with God, in which they are perfectly happy and satisfied. Nobody feels that why am I in Dasyaras and why he is in Sakhyaras. No competition. They are fully happy in their own rasa with the Lord. And in this way, this is the constitution of the spiritual world. The 5 rasas that are being constantly reciprocated and they are unadulterated. The reflection of these 5 rasas is there in the material world also. In this world also, we want to establish relationships with people based on these 5 rasas. Unless these rasas are regularly exchanged, we don't feel happy in our life. No matter how much money we have, how many gadgets we have, how much fame and power we have, but if there is no rasa, we say, आजकल क्या हो गया पता नहीं, जीवन में कुछ रस ही नहीं रहा है. What's that rasa we are talking about? Relationships. So in this world we want to have perfect master, perfect friend, perfect parent or child. We want to have perfect lover. But, what's the but? That cannot happen unless God becomes the center of all relationships. If God is not center of our relationships, then by default our ego will be the center of our own relationships. If you gratify my ego, it works. And the moment you stop doing that, it doesn't work. You scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. You stop scratching my back, I'll stop scratching your back. This is how in this material world relationships become. Because there is no common vision, common goal, common object of service. And therefore, whatever we are trying to get out of material relationships, in its perfected form is available in the spiritual world. There is a family life. And each of us have a unique spiritual swarupa, constitutional nature, in which we reciprocate love with God and other living beings. And the perfection of our life is to revive that original swarupa. And that can be done very easily when we practice spiritual culture in this world. As I said, yam yam vapi smaran bhavam. Whatever thoughts and actions you cultivate in this life will give to you your next life. And that is why we should practice spiritual culture. So, this is not to say that everything in this material world is burdensome, or it is to be neglected, or it is to be shunned and got rid of. What has to be done is छोड़ना नहीं है, जोड़ना है. We already have material facilities with us. We have our home. Can we say, this home is not my real home? My real home is in the spiritual world, so I'm going somewhere else. Can we say that the facilities like we have, like a car or whatever, they are material, but the moment we connect them to spirit, their pain-producing nature goes away. That is the secret of making life happy. Similarly with relationships, we all have relationships with each other, with our family members. But if we make them God-centered, and a classical example of this is the family of Pandavas. 5 Pandavas are unique and different from each other, but still they are so harmonious with each other. And we see, there is a saying in the Bible, the family that prays together stays together. What does that mean? The common center is not ego, but a sublime personality of the Supreme Lord. His pleasure is the goal of our life, not your pleasure and my pleasure. And that is the way relationships become sustainable. When Abhimanyu died in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Arjuna did cry. He didn't say, well, he is not his body, he is spirit soul. Or he didn't say, my relationship with father and son and all that. It's all Maya, it's all nonsense. Why did he cry? Because there is bereavement, because such a wonderful devotee of God I am going to miss in my life. So there is a relationship like father and son, but it is in connection with God. And that is the perfection of human relationships in our life. So we should, in short, do something by which we catch hold of the substance and we deal with the shadow in such a way that we become reinstated back in our original situation. This goes to show that our life has got 2 primary goals. Number 1, purification of our heart of wrong desires. We talked about free will. Free will is the cause of our downfall or our liberation. What we do with our independence given by God. So we have to not misuse our independence and make our desires subservient to God's will. That is the way we become a good citizen in the kingdom of God. So that is first, purification of our heart or our desires. This is the first and most important project of our life. Of all projects that we can take up, this is the most important. Second important project is that we should practice spiritual culture by which we get spiritual nourishment. Just like we eat daily food. Is there anyone here who says, well, I'm so busy, I don't eat anything throughout the day? No matter how busy we are, we still make some time to go and eat on time. Like that, spirit, soul has got his own food. What is the food for the soul? Primarily spiritual sound vibration. The holy name of God, the Vigraha, deities of the Lord, the scriptures given by God, the devotees of the Lord and their association. That is our spiritual food. To the degree we have this food, we become stout and strong in our spirit. And when the spirit is strong, everything else works very fine. Your emotions, your intellect and your physical body, they work in harmony because shadow follows the substance. Don't stay there only. Then I have to go catch it and bring it with me, something like that. So, if you take care of your spiritual well-being, your material well-being is always taken care of. This wisdom is lost in modern times, and that is why people have become feverish for material enjoyment. You understand? Feverish. They are so mad after material enjoyment. They think this is the goal of life. There is nothing besides this. But the moment we realize that if I get spiritually nourished, everything else follows. I will remain healthy. My intellect will be sharp. My emotions will be well taken care of, and all that I want for my life and for my service to the Lord will come my way. That is the confidence a devotee carries in his life, and that is how we should conduct ourselves. We must practice spiritual culture to get spiritual nourishment on a regular basis. So, 2 conclusions of today's session. What are they? Don't misuse your free will. And number 2, get regularly nourished in your spirit. Very simple conclusions. If these 2 things we can follow in our life, and how do we know whether I am using my free will rightly or not? For that we need to study what is the will of the Lord. You study scriptures like Bhagavad Gita. We will clearly come to know God gives very basic guidelines: how to eat, how to sleep, how to maintain health and hygiene, how to develop relationships, what kind of career, job, occupation we should handle, what should we do with our money, what should we do with our facilities in life, how we should employ them in benevolent service of others. Everything is there in life. So that's why Gita is called the manual for the mankind. And we live by the manual, that is called not misusing the free will. And then through us God will do wonderful things when we become His good instruments. And the primary part of getting spiritually nourished is A, B, C, D: association, books, chanting and diet. These are A, B, C, D of spiritual life. A for association. This weekly program that we conduct here is the only place, I guess, in your life where you get some spiritual thought and you contemplate deeply about purpose of life and where to take it. So this association is very vital. We become what we associate with. If we associate with people who are misguided, we become misguided. If we become people who are principle-centered, we also become principle-centered in our lives. That's A for association. B for books. Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. They are also BB. So this regular contemplation. Just study every day, few minutes, these books. You will see what thought your life will have. Brahma Jinyasa. C for chanting. We should regularly chant this Hare Krishna mantra on a daily basis in our own homes or wherever we can. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And D for diet, which means we should offer food that we eat to God and take prasadam. You are what you eat. So if you sanctify your food, your consciousness becomes pure, naturally. Why we should offer our food? Because food is the ultimate thing for which everybody works. And if that is being offered to God, that means the fruits of all our work is being offered to God. We are taking everything from nature, and nature belongs to God. We need to take permission for what we use from someone who gives it to us. So that's the meaning of offering our food to God. So if you follow this simple spiritual culture, A, B, C, D, you will see your life will become completely transformed. You don't have to give up anything. Everything continues. Relationships continue, material body continues, its well-being and upkeep continues, staying in the world continues. Even pursuit of material happiness, such as good food, good music, good entertainment, everything continues. But not misusing our free will and practicing spiritual culture. So we would like to end here. Are there any questions or comments? I am comfortable. I can wait for long till you get a question. So is the title clear now? Substance and shadow. Okay. Then I will ask you a question. How many of you have been introduced to the process of chanting? Japa? 1, 2, 3. Okay. You have malas? We hold the mala in the middle finger and the thumb, not the first one, but the next one. And on each bead, we chant one complete mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Second. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So in this way, when you chant, you come to the end. That's 108 times by the time you reach here.
Why is Ram? Why do you say Ram also?
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Why Ram's name?
Yeah, why?
No, we are not We are not Krishna fanatics. Krishna, Rama, Vishnu are same person but different personality. And their names are absolute. So, Rama means supreme reservoir of all happiness. That's the meaning of Rama. Krishna means one who attracts and bestows pleasure. It's called Krishna. Krish means to attract, Karshayati. Ana means to give spiritual pleasure. Krishna. See, the material world is also very attractive, but it gives pain when you do something in that manner. Krishna is not like that. So, Krishna, Rama and Hare. Hare is name of Radha, the internal potency of God. Pleasure-giving potency, Ladini Shakti. So we are praying to our mother Hare, that I got separated from my father, Krishna. Please engage me in his service. Generally, if you do mischief, you don't go to father directly, right? You go to the mama and tell her, Papa ko bolo gussa thuk do, abhi bahut ho gaya. So in that mood we go through Hare. Sita Ram, Lakshmi Narayan, Radha Krishna. Why the name of mother comes first and the father later? That's the reason. So we chant Hare Krishna. And the meaning of this prayer is, O Hare, O Krishna, please engage me in your service. I have done enough service to my own mind and senses, enough service to my fellow beings, and enough service to all kinds of isms, conceptions. And nothing has happened, other than I have just continued my cycle of birth and death. Now I have become awakened in my consciousness. I want to serve you. Please engage me in your eternal service. That's the meaning of this mantra. So my humble request to you, we will give you malas today. You can give everyone. And please start chanting at your home regularly. And if you don't feel any difference after 1 month, 2 months of chanting, give it. There are no charges anyways. But if you really want some, there is concept of Guru Dakshina in Vedic culture. If you get transcendental knowledge, you must give something to the Guru. You can't take it for free. So if you want to ask me what do I want from you as Guru Dakshina, is that I want you to chant Hare Krishna. If you cannot chant 2 many rounds, that's fine with me. You chant at least 1 round daily at home. And this practice will help you in every single way. What does chanting do to you? Chanting grants you healthy body, stress-free mind, sharp intelligence, focused and jolly soul. It's food for the soul. So these are the benefits of daily practicing mantra meditation. So it's my humble request to all of you. So you learned today how to chant. So next time when I come, I'll ask you. I don't feel bad. I'll ask you like that. How many rounds could you chant in the 7 days? So please chant at least 1 round daily. It takes, in the beginning it takes 12-15 minutes. Eventually it takes less time, 7 minutes. How many minutes we have in a day? 1440 minutes. For your information. God has given us so much time and He's saying, okay, give me my 10 minutes back, Baba. Do something about your relationship building with me. 10 minutes out of 1440 minutes is just nothing. How do you know you value some relationship? By the time you spend with them. Right? Sometimes husbands and wives, they say, you don't love me. Why? You don't spend time with me. That's a very basic criteria of spending time. So if you love God, then you spend some time with Him. How do you know God is there when you chant? Because God's name and God are identical. They are not different. It's not like Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola if I chant. My thirst is not going to get quenched because the name and the object are relative. But God's name is absolute. He and the person are same. So when we chant Hare Krishna, we associate with persons. But it takes time to realize how this sound is not different from the personality of God. That comes through purification of our heart. And you see, any religion, they recommend the process of chanting names of God. You take our religion, Sanatana Dharma, all the great acharyas, all the great devotees who have happened in the past, they all used to chant some name of the Lord regularly in their lives. Whether they were celibates or they were married or whatever. So it's our humble request. This is the greatest gift you can get in your life. The holy name of God. Nama Chintamani Krishna. The holy name is like a Chintamani, wish fulfilling gem. And by chanting, you can fulfill all your desires, but be careful what you desire. Beware of your prayers, they might be answered. So better you chant with the pure desire. Please engage me in your service. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.